You're talking a little bit, about walking around in a suit with a briefcase and just sort of, shopping around your stuff that way. I mean, was that your origins as a game developer?
My origins are they pretty standard? I don't know, but I think so. It was basically I started making games in '86, I think, when I got my first Sinclair Spectrum. But these were not commercial products, but I was basically making games like from start to finish. And but my first 3 commercial games, something that was sold originally just in Poland and later all around the world, were actually adventure games.
Okay.
So the first one I've done was called Mystery of the Statue, or Statuette. And it was just, sort of Myst-like game, just with photographs instead of renders, because that was cheaper for me, obviously. And I was a programmer, sound wizard, and I did the graphics and the design, right? Everything I've done myself in that first game. And then, and then it's like every single next project is sort of slightly better, slightly more people, reaching more people with the game, right? So I went from that one guy in 1993 with the Mystery of the Statuette, then to 4 people on the project.
Wow.
Yeah, with the next game. But now, obviously, we're 70, but we are cooperating with hundreds of people all around the world. So, this is this sort of like a very straight line of a career, if you will, right? This is this kind of growth. So actually, that's been almost 20 years now.
Since you said it was Mystery of the Statuette?
Mystery of the Statuette. That was released only in Poland, and on purpose. I mean, I just knew that it, stood no chance against real games. But the second game, actually, oddly enough, it was called Teen Agent, and that was a point-and-click LucasArts style adventure.
Okay.
And that actually I sold as a shareware. And we even got an award from a UK magazine, PC Format, an award for that particular game. So I was very happy about that. And then I've made a couple of other games, and then I sort of moved from genre to understand really what I want to do. And I have space real-time strategy. I have RPG strategy on my resume. But then there came the time for Painkiller.
Mm-hmm. So what was so touching back on Mystery of the Statuette, what was like the main story?
It was 1993, so I'm not sure I remember correctly, but it was sort of like, if you imagine like, obviously my own lame version of Da Vinci's Code.
Okay.
So it's this kind of mystery, and there's a little bit of supernatural in it, and there is a villain, and there is a crime. So it was this kind of game. The funny thing about the Mystery of the Statuette was that I actually went to on vacation. I was vacationing in Saint-Tropez in France, and I took a lot of pictures. I didn't plan on using these pictures for a game, but then I thought, okay, maybe one of the locations in Mystery of the Statuette could be that. So I had to remove my friends from every single frame, pixel by pixel. At that time, fortunately for me, resolution wasn't great. But it was still a lot of work, but nobody has ever noticed that actually this kind of photoshopping happened. I think it was paint or something like this, depaint.
I have some photos with an ex-girlfriend that I really like, so maybe you can help me out with that.
Yeah, it was this kind of work, early photoshopping.
Is there one thing that you're, from the Mystery of the Statuette, one thing you're particularly proud of, or like an interesting story that came out of development from that sticks in your mind when you think back on the game?
Yes, there is something that I can't forget about. There was very early in the game, there was actually a moment when you're imprisoned, you're in the prison cell, and you have to somehow escape. Now, there is a sort of puddle of water on the ground, and there is an electrical socket on the wall. So you have to sort of short circuit the thing. And the way you do it, you need to sort of connect that puddle of water to that electrical socket. So you do it by speeding, like creating a line of speed, basically. So you solve the problem with your saliva. So looking back, obviously that's really weird and silly, but I remember when people had a problem with that part of the game, this was before the internet, so they were basically calling us, and every single day I had to sit there by the phone, and there was some mom of a dude calling and asking me, my son doesn't know what to do, and I was like, Okay, so you have to spit on the wall one time, and then you have to spit a little bit, higher, and then spit one more time, then sip a little bit of more of that water on the ground, okay, and one more time, please spit. Okay, yes, thank you, that solved the problem. So that was really embarrassing, and lesson learned.
Have you talked about spit out over the phone as much since then, or common?
No, I'm trying to avoid the subject.
Okay,
but
all right. Cool. Thanks, Adrian. That was great.
Thanks.